Imagine a land blessed with gold, oil, diamonds, and fertile soil. A land where the Earth's crust is a treasure chest. And yet, the people remain poor. Schools crumble, hospitals lack medicine, and children walk miles for clean water. This isn't a story about a far-off fantasy world. This is real, and it's happening right now, across Africa. Welcome to Africa's Paradox of Plenty, a story of wealth that curses instead of blesses, and of a system designed to keep the rich richer and the resource owners poor. Sounds familiar? Ever asked yourself why the not-so-attractive images of old dissolve into modern-day skyscrapers in the West, while Africa remains a cluster of struggling villages? Today, we're going deep into the history, politics, and raw truth behind why some of the world's richest lands are home to some of its poorest people, and why the system is built to keep it that way. The historical setup. Please listen carefully. To understand the present, we have to look to the past. When European powers arrived in Africa centuries ago, they weren't here to help. They were here for one thing: resources. The Democratic Republic of the Congo was stripped of diamonds, copper, and cobalt. Sudan became a prize for its oil. The Sahel countries lost control of vast lands that could feed millions. Colonialism worked like this. Take Africa's raw materials, ship them to the West, turn them into finished products, and sell them back at high prices. Africa lost not just its wealth, but its ability to decide its own economic future. Belgium's chocolate shops contrasted with cocoa farmers in West Africa. Belgium is famous for its chocolate, but almost all the cocoa comes from impoverished farmers in West Africa. The West gets the luxury product. Africa gets pennies. The new face of colonialism. Did colonialism end after Africa gained its independence from the West? You might think colonialism ended when African countries gained independence, but in truth, it just changed clothes. Today, it is called land grabbing, where foreign governments and corporations buy or lease massive areas of African land. Local farmers are pushed out. Nations lose control over their own food production. And then there are the predatory resource deals. African leaders, often tempted by personal gain, sign contracts that give away oil, minerals, and farmland at bargain prices. These deals enrich a few at the top and leave the rest of the country struggling. It's a modern game of neo-colonialism, control without the need for armies. And then there is the wealth divide. Can Africa become wealthy by following in the footsteps of the West? We were told that developing nations can grow wealthy by following the example of developed countries. But here is the problem. The wealth of the developed world is built on the poverty of the developing world. Think of Africa as a flower producing nectar, and the West as the bee. The bee takes the nectar, turns it into honey, and leaves the flower to wither. Raw materials flow out of Africa, finished products and wealth stay in the developed nations, and the cycle repeats. The political and human toll. Are you ready for this? Here's where the paradox gets cruel. When an African nation suffers economically despite being resource-rich, outsiders blame corruption and bad governance. While that's partly true, the deeper story is that many of these countries are bound by unfair contracts and debt traps that leave them no room to invest in their own people. This creates distrust. Citizens lose faith in their leaders. Leaders become more desperate. And the West capitalizes on the chaos. Former French Prime Minister Jacques Chirac once said, "Too often, African leaders are blamed for corruption, but they are the apprentices of Western leaders. Western leaders make peanut offers to African leaders, knowing that they will accept them for selfish gains. After all, there are no checks and balances." This brings us to why African children study so hard. Farmers work from sunrise to sunset. African cities bustle with so much activities, but the strangling hands of poverty maintains its grip on their necks. Here is the truth. Africa's paradox of plenty isn't just about economics. It's about power. It's about who gets to decide the future of a land blessed with more than enough for all its people. And until the cycle of exploitation is broken, Africa's greatest blessing will remain its greatest curse. If you believe the world needs to hear this truth, share this video. Let's start a conversation that the powers at the top hope you'll never have.